There's a weapon so powerful that rulers relied on it, billionaires still practice it, and the most commanding individuals in any space understand it deeply. Yet the uncomfortable reality is this: most people will never master it. Instead, they'll continue seeking approval, chasing attention, and allowing themselves to be hurt by people who are not worth their time. If you walk away from this message now, chances are you'll remain trapped in that same exhausting pattern. But if you stay with me, you'll gain an insight that took me years of rejection, struggle, and hard self-reflection to learn. This is the art of ignoring people, the ability to withhold attention, and it is one of the most powerful tools in human psychology. And trust me, once you truly understand it, your understanding of respect, relationships, and self-worth will never be the same. Let me take you back to when I was 19. I had a friend, let's call him Steve. Steve only reached out when he needed something. And I always responded immediately. I showed up without hesitation. I made myself endlessly available. Then one day, a harsh realization hit me: I was invisible to him. Not because I lacked value, but because I made myself too available. That's when I stumbled upon a psychological truth that completely shifted how I saw people. Humans instinctively value what feels scarce, what doesn't rush toward them, and what is not guaranteed. When you're constantly available, always replying, always pursuing, you're quietly signaling that your time and energy matter less than theirs. And people respond accordingly. Not out of cruelty, but because that's how the mind is wired. We rarely appreciate what comes easily. But we fixate on what pulls away. Think about it. The person who responds slowly, doesn't react to everything, and seems emotionally unaffected often occupies your thoughts the most. Their silence creates uncertainty, and the brain hates uncertainty. It fills the gap with speculation, stories, and curiosity, handing that person influence without them saying a word. Here's the first painful truth: ignoring is not about being disrespectful. It's not about manipulation or mind games. It's about protecting your energy and reclaiming your power. Most people give their power away daily. Every time they respond immediately to someone who doesn't. Every time they over-explain to people committed to misunderstanding them. Every time they engage with disrespect instead of walking away. Each reaction hands emotional control to someone who likely isn't thinking about them at all. I know this stings, I've lived it. But here's where the shift happens. The moment you begin using intentional silence, the dynamic changes. People become more aware of you. They start respecting your time. Those who once took you for granted notice suddenly, because you're no longer predictable. You become uncertain. And uncertainty captures attention. There's a simple framework that actually works. First, understand the difference between cold ignoring and warm ignoring. The cold ignoring is when you cut off someone completely. No response at all, no acknowledgement. This is best reserved for toxic individuals, chronic disrespect, or people who drain you. Controlled distance, on the other hand, involves slower replies, fewer words, and reduced emotional involvement. You're present, but no longer overly available. This works well with coworkers, relatives, or people you can't fully avoid. The rule is simple: mirror energy, but slightly less. If someone gives you minimal effort, respond with even less. Never overextend. Watch how quickly the dynamic shifts. You might be wondering if this is just manipulation. I questioned that too, until I understood the difference. This isn't about control. It's about boundaries. When you stop absorbing everyone's emotional baggage, stop reacting to every trigger, and start choosing what deserves your attention, you're not playing games, you're protecting yourself. And few things are more powerful than someone who doesn't rely on approval to feel whole. There's another benefit most people overlook. Mastering the art of ignoring reshapes your own mind. Each time you resist the urge to respond, defend yourself, or engage with someone insignificant, you strengthen your emotional discipline. You prove to yourself that you, not your impulses or insecurities, are in charge. That self-mastery becomes real confidence. Not performative confidence, but the quiet, grounded kind that comes from self-respect. Now, let me reframe this with one final concept. There's a psychological mechanism called intermittent reinforcement, the same force that makes gambling addictive. When rewards are unpredictable, the brain becomes hooked. Again, this isn't about manipulating others. It's about understanding that when your attention isn't constant, when you're sometimes present and sometimes unavailable, you become intriguing. People can't categorize you. They can't predict you. And that unpredictability is attractive. The healthy way to apply this isn't by pretending to be busy. It's by actually becoming busy, building a life that matters. Focus on your goals, your health, and your growth. When you do that, your unavailability becomes natural, not strategic. I want to leave you with something uncomfortable but true: the people you're most afraid of pulling away from are often the ones you need distance from the most. The friend who undermines you. The ex who keeps reappearing only to disappear again. The family member who constantly criticizes. Even imagining distance from them makes your heart race, but that fear is the signal. Because beyond it is a version of you who doesn't beg, chase, or explain. A version of you who enters any room is already complete. This isn't easy. The first unanswered message will feel unbearable. Walking away from conflict will feel unnatural. Every instinct will urge you to engage. But if you endure that discomfort, something changes. You begin to feel free from opinions that don't sustain you, free from unnecessary drama, and free from the constant effort of being liked. That freedom is worth the discomfort. So the decision is yours. You can return to being endlessly available to people who don't value you. Or you can start now, protecting your peace as if it matters deeply, because it does. The quality of your life reflects the strength of your boundaries. And those boundaries depend on your ability to remain silent when everything urges you to speak. Remember this: silence isn't weakness. Silence is authority. And true authority doesn't need to announce itself, it simply stands calm, steady, and unmoved.